They say motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. Yet, let's be honest, there are mornings you wake up and feel nothing but resistance. Your mind whispers, maybe tomorrow. Your body says, you deserve a break. But deep down, you know, every time you surrender to comfort, you bury your potential a little deeper. This speech is not about feeling motivated. It's about forcing yourself to take control, even when every cell in your body screams to quit. Because discipline isn't something you wait for. It's something you create. Discipline is not a gift from the heavens. It's not born in people who just have it. Discipline is the muscle of the mind, and like any muscle, it grows only when tested. You can't wish for it. You can't buy it. You must build it through repetition, pain, and perseverance. It begins in small, silent moments. When you get up at 5 a.m. to work out, when you choose the book instead of the phone, when you finish your work while others scroll their feeds. Discipline is forged in silence, but it speaks volumes in your results. Motivation is a liar. It's a burst of emotion that comes and goes with your mood. But discipline is the truth that stands when motivation disappears. Motivation is easy when life feels exciting, when dreams look clear. But discipline shows up when the sky is grey, when nobody claps, when the world forgets your name. The secret: stop waiting to feel ready. You will never feel ready. You will never feel perfect. The people who win are not those who feel inspired, but those who act without permission from their feelings. There comes a moment in life when you must stop negotiating with yourself. Stop asking, do I feel like it? And start commanding yourself. Do it anyway. You must treat your mind like a soldier obeying orders. The more you command yourself, the stronger your will becomes. You start to realize that discipline is the ultimate form of self-respect, because every time you keep your word to yourself, you prove that your dreams matter more than your excuses. To force discipline is to embrace discomfort. Every great achiever, every world-class athlete, every visionary leader, they all learned how to suffer on purpose. They trained themselves to do what was necessary, not what was easy. The alarm rings, they move. The fear comes, they act. The doubt whispers, they answer with action. Because action kills fear. The moment you move, hesitation dies. And when hesitation dies, discipline is born. So start small. Don't try to conquer the world overnight. Conquer 1 hour, 1 habit, 1 day, and then repeat it, because consistency is what transforms force into instinct. Soon, what felt like discipline will feel like who you are. The difference between the average and the extraordinary is not talent. It's tolerance. The tolerance for boredom. The tolerance for repetition. The tolerance for doing the same thing again and again. Without applause, without excitement, without instant reward. Most people fail because they chase feelings. The disciplined succeed because they chase standards. When you raise your standards higher than your moods, you become unstoppable. You begin to act from identity, not emotion. You stop saying, I'll try, and start saying, I will. Excuses are the language of comfort. Execution is the language of greatness. You can justify why you're not disciplined, or you can prove that you are. But you can't do both. Every time you say, I'll do it later, you train your brain to tolerate failure. But every time you push through, even once, you rewrite your story. You remind your mind that you are the master, not the slave. The best version of you isn't found in comfort. It's found in chaos, in structure, in doing what you promised long after the feeling has faded. Understand this: the battle for discipline isn't fought in the gym, the office, or the classroom. It's fought in the 6 inches between your ears. Every time you face that voice telling you to stop, you're at war with your weaker self. And every time you push back, you win a small battle. Win enough of those, and you build an army of habits so powerful that laziness can no longer invade. That's the real secret. Discipline isn't about controlling time. It's about controlling yourself. Create systems, not wishes. Don't say, "I'll try to wake up early." Set an alarm, put your phone across the room, and get up when it rings. Remove the escape routes. Delete distractions. Block temptations. Make it impossible to fail. Make discipline emotional. Attach your goals to something deeper: your family, your future, your freedom. Reward consistency, not perfection. Even a 1% effort counts. Because the more you show up, the more natural it becomes. Remember, discipline is not punishment. It's the path to power. The moment you stop letting your emotions dictate your actions, your life begins to change. When you can look at your bed in the morning and say, "I don't care how I feel, I move," you're rewriting your destiny. You are training your mind to obey your purpose, not your comfort. That's where champions are born. Not in moments of glory, but in the lonely hours when nobody's watching. Yet you still show up. You wake up in the morning, and that battle begins. The war between who you are and who you could be. You stare at your goals, your dreams, your plans, and your mind whispers, "Not today." That single whisper destroys more destinies than failure ever will. Because you're waiting to feel inspired, waiting to feel strong, waiting for the right moment. But here's the truth most people never face. Discipline is not a feeling. It's a decision. It's not something that arrives when you're motivated. It's something you decide on, especially when you're not. You see, most people live their entire lives like emotional slaves, doing what they feel like, not what they said they would. But emotions are unreliable. They rise and fall like the tide. One day you're on fire, the next you're empty. If your actions depend on your feelings, you'll never build anything lasting. Real achievers, real winners. They don't wait for emotions to lead, they let purpose lead. They do what needs to be done, no matter what they feel inside, because they understand that discipline doesn't care about your mood. It only cares about your movement. Think about it. When you brush your teeth, you don't need motivation. You just do it every single day, without question. Why? Because it's not optional. It's identity. That's the level of automation discipline demands. When you decide, truly decide, that your goals are non-negotiable, you remove the debate. You stop giving yourself a choice. You act because you said you would. And that's where freedom begins. Not the freedom to do what you want, but the freedom to do what you must. The mind loves comfort. It will give you every reason to delay, to pause, to postpone greatness. But the disciplined mind says, "I move anyway." Every time you move without waiting for motivation, you build mental armor. You're teaching your brain that you're in control, not your feelings. That's how power is born. In the moment you choose action over emotion, consistency over convenience. Discipline is a decision you renew every morning, every hour, every task. It's not a burst. It's a habit of defiance against weakness. And when you decide, truly decide, that you'll act regardless of how you feel. That's when your entire life begins to shift, because emotion is temporary. But decision is forever. Wisdom in Minutes Audiobooks. Decide to move, and motivation will follow. And motivation feels good, doesn't it? That sudden rush of energy, that spark of inspiration after a great speech or an emotional video. It makes you believe you can conquer the world. But then, what happens the next morning when the fire fades and reality hits? You don't feel like doing it anymore. That's because motivation is a visitor. It comes, it inspires, and it leaves. Discipline, however, is a resident. It doesn't knock on the door, it lives inside you. The people who rise to greatness don't rely on fleeting sparks. They rely on the steady flame of discipline that burns even in the dark. You see, motivation is emotional. It's driven by how you feel. But discipline is logical. It's driven by what you've decided. Motivation says, I'll go to the gym when I feel pumped. Discipline says, I'll go to the gym because I said I would. Motivation is loud, exciting, and temporary. Discipline is quiet, consistent, and eternal. The difference between winners and dreamers is not passion, it's persistence. Winners keep going long after the passion fades. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You won't always feel inspired. You won't always wake up with fire in your chest. Some days you'll wake up tired, bored, frustrated, or even broken. And that's exactly where discipline steps in, to take over when motivation disappears. The strongest people in the world aren't those who feel driven every day. They're the ones who act without needing to feel driven. They have trained their minds to obey their goals, not their moods. Think about the legends of history. Athletes, inventors, creators, leaders. They all had days when they didn't feel like it, days when progress felt invisible. But they showed up anyway. That's the real magic. Showing up even when you don't want to. Doing the work even when the results don't show yet. Pushing forward even when nobody's clapping. That's discipline. The quiet force behind every great success story. Motivation fades like smoke. Discipline builds like stone. Every time you act without motivation, you lay another brick in the foundation of your future. One day, you'll look back and realize it wasn't motivation that built your success. It was the countless moments you moved without it. Because in the end, motivation lights the spark, but discipline keeps the fire alive. A Wisdom in Minutes Audiobooks. When motivation leaves, let discipline lead. There comes a moment in life when you must stop asking for permission from your feelings and start giving commands to yourself. Most people treat their minds like fragile glass, afraid to push too hard, afraid to demand more. But the truth is, your mind doesn't need comfort, it needs command. You have to become both the general and the soldier of your own life. The general sets the mission, and the soldier executes. No questions, no excuses, no delay. That's what separates the disciplined from the distracted, the achievers from the average. Every time you tell yourself, "I'll do it later," you're teaching your brain to disobey you. You're telling your subconscious that your word doesn't matter. And once your mind stops respecting your own orders, you lose power over yourself. But when you give yourself an order, get up, start, move, and you follow it, something powerful happens. You build internal credibility. You begin to trust your own voice again. That's the secret to unshakable self-control. Doing what you said you would, especially when you don't want to. Discipline is not about motivation. It's about self-respect. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, "If I said I'll do it, I'll do it." The more you keep your word, the stronger your inner authority becomes. Soon, you no longer wait for external validation. You stop needing someone to tell you what to do, because your own voice has become the command you obey. That's real power. The ability to lead yourself. You must train your mind to respond to direction like a soldier responds to a commander. There is no debate. There is no hesitation. The moment you decide, you act. The moment you commit, you execute. Every hesitation weakens your will, every instant of obedience strengthens it, and the stronger your self-command becomes, the quieter your excuses get. Think about it. In war, hesitation can mean defeat. In life, it's no different. Every second you spend overthinking is a second lost in progress. Discipline means moving even when your mind is screaming to stop. It means mastering yourself so completely that your emotions no longer control your destiny. You give the order and you follow it, because that's what warriors do. Wisdom in Minutes Audiobooks. Lead yourself with command, not with comfort. Everyone wants to change their life overnight, to wake up motivated, transformed, unstoppable. But discipline doesn't work like that. It doesn't arrive in grand moments of inspiration or big dramatic changes. It grows quietly in the small, consistent acts that no one sees. Do it small, do it daily, do it anyway. That's the real formula. You don't need to take massive leaps. You need to take consistent steps. Because the greatest power lies not in intensity, but in repetition. Every small act of discipline is a silent declaration that you're becoming someone stronger. You see, most people fail not because they lack potential, but because they expect transformation without repetition. They start big, burn fast, and quit early, but true discipline begins when excitement fades and routine begins. The secret is to focus on one habit, one action, one promise, and keep it alive every single day. Wake up and move your body. Read 10 pages. Work for 1 hour with total focus. You don't need to change everything. You need to master one thing, and repeat it until it becomes who you are. Every small act matters. That one decision to show up when you don't feel like it. That's progress. That one moment when you push through resistance. That's growth. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. Even when you do just a little, you're still teaching your brain that you're in control, and every time you keep that promise to yourself, you're reinforcing a powerful message. I can trust myself. Here's the truth. Momentum is built in silence. Nobody will see the early mornings, the late nights, the boring repetitions. But that's where the foundation is laid. Greatness isn't built in intensity. It's built in consistency. The small steps you take every day compound into unstoppable progress. The key is to keep showing up, not once, not sometimes, but always. There will be days when you're tired, uninspired, or overwhelmed. That's when you whisper to yourself, do it anyway. Because every anyway moment rewires your brain for resilience. It teaches you to act beyond emotion, beyond doubt, beyond fear. Small actions done daily will always defeat massive actions done occasionally. Keep moving. Keep showing up. Because one small step, done every day, can build an extraordinary life. Wisdom in Minutes Audiobooks. Small daily actions create massive unstoppable change. For excuses are easy. They sound reasonable, even comforting. They whisper, "You'll start tomorrow," or "You deserve a break." But every time you listen to those voices, you trade progress for comfort. You convince yourself you're being patient, when in truth, you're being passive. The harsh truth is this: excuses will always exist. But execution is what separates the dreamers from the doers. You can talk about your goals for years, or you can start building them today. The world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards results. Every excuse you create builds a wall between you and your potential. You tell yourself the timing isn't right, the resources aren't enough, the situation isn't perfect. But perfection is a myth. There will never be a right time. Those who achieve greatness don't wait for conditions to align. They move forward regardless. They understand that the only thing worse than failure is never starting at all. Excuses protect your ego, but execution builds your life. When you execute, even imperfectly, you take control. Action destroys doubt faster than thought ever can. The moment you move, the fog clears. You begin to see that momentum doesn't come from motivation. It comes from motion. The disciplined mind doesn't debate, it decides. It doesn't say, "Maybe later." It says, "Now." Because every time you act, you reinforce belief. And every time you hesitate, you reinforce fear. People often wait for confidence before they begin. But confidence isn't born from waiting. It's born from execution. You earn confidence by doing what you said you would do. Even if you stumble, even if you fall short, you're still ahead of the person who only planned. That's the mindset of the disciplined. They don't care if it's perfect, they care that it's done. When you replace excuses with execution, everything changes. Your habits shift, your energy rises, your self-respect multiplies. Because deep down, discipline is a form of honesty. It's you proving to yourself that your words have power, that your goals mean something, that your dreams are worth the effort. Every time you act when it's easier to wait, you become stronger than your past. The question isn't whether you're capable, it's whether you'll execute. Because the moment you do, everything you've been waiting for starts moving toward you. A Wisdom in Minutes Audiobooks. Excuses sound good, but execution changes everything. Comfort feels safe. It feels familiar. It tells you everything is fine right where you are. But that soft voice of comfort is the most dangerous lie you'll ever believe. Comfort convinces you to stay still when you should be growing. It keeps you warm, but it also keeps you weak. Every person who has achieved greatness has had to make one painful decision: to leave comfort behind, because comfort is the enemy of progress, and progress demands pain. You cannot evolve while clinging to ease. Growth never happens in the comfort zone. It happens in the moments of pressure, fatigue, and frustration. When your body wants to stop, but your purpose tells you to keep going. That's the zone where character is built. When you step into discomfort, you're not just testing your limits, you're expanding them. Every time you choose discomfort, you send a signal to your mind that you are in control, that you are willing to suffer now to succeed later. And that single choice, repeated daily, turns average people into unstoppable ones. Think about it. When was the last time you truly grew without resistance? Muscles only grow under strain. Diamonds form under pressure, and discipline is forged in discomfort. The moments that feel unbearable are the very moments shaping your strength. Most people quit because they confuse pain with failure. But pain is not punishment, Pain is progress. It's life's way of testing how badly you want what you say you want. You can't crave success and cling to comfort at the same time. One has to go. The disciplined mind understands this truth. Comfort kills ambition faster than fear ever could. That's why the strongest people in the world don't chase easy, they chase effort. They don't run from pain, they run toward growth. Every time you push through something uncomfortable, you prove that you're stronger than yesterday. So the next time life gets hard, don't retreat. Lean in. Feel the burn, embrace the resistance, and remind yourself that comfort is temporary, but pride is permanent. The easy path will always be crowded, but the difficult one leads to greatness. Choose the path that challenges you, because on the other side of discomfort lies a version of you that comfort could never create. Wisdom in Minutes Audiobooks. Comfort is easy, but discomfort builds the extraordinary. The greatest battles you'll ever fight won't happen in the world around you. They'll happen in your own mind. Every morning, before you even step out of bed, the war begins. One voice tells you to rise, to work, to grow. The other whispers, stay comfortable, stay safe. You can do it later. That voice sounds soft, but it's dangerous. It has killed more dreams than failure ever will. The disciplined understand this truth. Your biggest opponent is not the world, not the critics, not the competition. It's the voice in your head that tries to talk you out of greatness. The mind is a battlefield, and if you don't learn to control it, it will control you. The undisciplined mind is full of doubt, fear, and hesitation. It looks for comfort, for excuses, for escape, but the disciplined mind sees those same emotions and says, I hear you, but I'm moving anyway. That's what separates the powerful from the passive. It's not that they don't feel fear or laziness. They simply refuse to obey it. Every time you act despite resistance, you silence the weaker voice inside you and strengthen the one that leads. Most people lose this battle because they wait to feel ready, but readiness is a myth. The mind will always find a reason to delay, to rest, to quit. Discipline means acting before you feel ready, trusting that movement creates momentum. Each time you take control of your thoughts, you win a small war, and every small victory builds mental armor that makes you unshakable. Soon, that voice of doubt becomes quieter, and the voice of determination becomes dominant. Think of your mind like a garden. If you don't plant strong, positive thoughts, weeds of doubt will grow on their own. Discipline is the act of pulling those weeds every single day, of protecting your focus, your vision, and your purpose. Because when you lose control of your mind, you lose control of your life. The truth is simple. Success begins in your head long before it shows in your life. The ones who win have mastered the war within. They've learned that victory isn't about silencing the negative voice. It's about speaking louder than it. Every time you act when your mind tells you not to, you prove that you are the commander, not the captive. A Wisdom in Minutes Audiobooks. Conquer the war within, and the world will never defeat you. Everyone wants fast results. They want success today, transformation tomorrow, and mastery overnight. But true greatness doesn't come from explosive bursts of effort. It comes from the quiet repetition of consistent actions. Consistency beats intensity. Every single time. It's not what you do once in a while that defines you. It's what you do daily. Discipline is built in the ordinary, invisible moments that most people overlook. The people who win long-term are not the ones who work the hardest for a week. They're the ones who refuse to stop working, even when no one's watching. The truth is, intensity fades, motivation fades, but consistency compounds. When you show up every day, even in small ways, you create unstoppable momentum. Every action, no matter how small, adds up to something greater than itself. The secret is to focus less on perfection and more on persistence. One workout doesn't make you fit, but 100 will. 1 hour of study won't make you an expert, but years of steady learning will. That's how success is built, not in explosive moments, but in sustained dedication. Consistency is boring, and that's why most people fail. They crave excitement, instant progress, visible results. But the disciplined understand that progress is often silent. It's not glamorous. It's not thrilling. It's routine, repetitive, sometimes frustrating. But that's exactly what makes it powerful. Each time you stay consistent, when your emotions beg you to quit, you strengthen your willpower. You teach your mind that commitment is not a mood. It's a standard. The real challenge isn't doing something great once. It's doing it again and again when the novelty wears off. Anyone can start strong. Few can stay steady. But consistency doesn't demand perfection. It demands presence. Show up on the days you feel unstoppable, and especially on the days you don't. Even when your energy is low, your belief should stay high. Because success doesn't require superhuman effort, it requires ordinary effort done relentlessly. Over time, consistency becomes your greatest ally. It turns hard work into habit and habit into identity. The moment you stop counting the days and simply keep going, you cross from discipline into mastery. Because in the end, success is never about what you do occasionally. It's about what you refuse to stop doing. A Wisdom in Minutes Audiobooks. Consistency is silent, but its results speak louder than any motivation ever could. Or your life rises or falls to the level of your standards. Everything you do, every choice you make, every habit you repeat, all of it reflects what you're willing to tolerate. People often say they want success, but their standards tell a different story. They want excellence while accepting average effort. They want growth while clinging to comfort. The truth is simple. You don't get what you want. You get what you're willing to demand from yourself. If you want to change your life, raise your standards higher than your moods, because emotions fade, but standards remain. Discipline begins where feelings end. When you operate based on how you feel, you'll live in cycles. Productive one day, lazy the next. But when you operate based on standards, you rise above emotion. Your actions no longer depend on motivation, they depend on identity. You don't work hard because you feel inspired. You work hard because it's who you are. The greatest performers in the world don't chase excitement, they chase excellence. They hold themselves to a higher standard even when no one's watching. That's what makes them different. Every time you lower your standards to match your mood, you weaken your self-respect. But every time you uphold your standards despite exhaustion, boredom, or fear, you strengthen your character. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you could be. And that bridge is built from unwavering standards. When you decide that good enough is no longer enough, your entire mindset transforms. You stop asking, "What's the minimum I can do?" and start asking, "What's the maximum I'm capable of?" That shift changes everything. Raising your standards doesn't mean chasing perfection. It means refusing mediocrity. It means doing what's right, not what's easy. It means showing up prepared, focused, and committed, even when it's inconvenient. Because your standards are your self-image in action. You will never outperform the level of expectation you set for yourself. If you demand more, you'll become more. In the end, discipline is simply the art of living up to your own standards, no matter how you feel. When your goals become your minimum requirement, success stops being a dream. It becomes your default. Because when your standards rise above your excuses, your potential finally rises with them. Wisdom in Minutes Audiobooks. Raise your standards higher than your moods, and watch your life rise to meet them. No one is born disciplined. No one comes into this world with an unshakable will or iron focus. Discipline isn't a gift. It's a construction. It's something you forge, piece by piece, through choice, repetition, and resilience. The strongest people you know weren't born strong. They were built in silence, through thousands of small, invisible moments where they chose effort over excuse, purpose over pleasure, and consistency over comfort. Discipline is a creation, not a condition. And the moment you realize that, you take your power back. Every time you act when you don't feel like it, you're shaping the version of yourself that most people never meet. It's not about having willpower, it's about developing it. Each time you say no to laziness, every time you choose focus over distraction, you're adding another layer to your mental armor. You're not waiting for discipline. You're forging it with your actions. Think of it like a blacksmith shaping steel. The fire is resistance. The hammer is repetition. The steel is your character. And every strike, every hard decision, every moment of struggle, that's how you become unbreakable. The path to discipline isn't glamorous. It's lonely. It's repetitive. It's full of moments when no one claps, no one notices, and no one cares. But that's exactly where transformation lives. In the quiet, unseen hours, when you do what's necessary simply because you said you would. That's where identity is forged. And soon, what once required force becomes instinct. What once felt hard becomes natural. That's when you know discipline has been truly built. When it stops being something you do and becomes something you are. Most people wait for motivation to appear. The disciplined don't wait. They move, they act, they build. They understand that discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being persistent. They don't fear failure because they know failure is part of the forging process. The fire that tests them is the same fire that strengthens them. Every struggle, every setback, every repetition is proof that you're not just wishing for discipline. You're earning it. When you stop searching for the easy way and start building through the hard way, you become unstoppable. Discipline isn't found, it's forged. In your daily choices, in your quiet battles, in your relentless commitment to growth. Because when you master discipline, you don't just control your habits. You control your destiny. Wisdom in Minutes Audiobooks. You weren't born disciplined. You forged it, and that's what makes you powerful. So today, stop waiting for the perfect day. Stop waiting for the spark. There is no magic. There is only discipline. The daily decision to act when you least feel like it. Force yourself, because your dreams deserve that fight. Every step, every repetition, every moment of resistance, It's all building something unbreakable within you. Because one day, the world will call you disciplined, but you'll know the truth. You weren't born with it. You forced it. And that's what made you unstoppable. Wisdom in Minutes Audiobooks. Because greatness begins in minutes and lasts for a lifetime.